Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Daily Easy English Talk. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're plunging into something that's been, well, generating a lot of buzz lately. It's this recent, very public clash between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and kind of spinning out of that this whole idea of a new political force, maybe called the America Party.
It's a fascinating situation. You've got history there, big policy clashes, and, well, the potential for some real shifts in the political landscape. We're going to unpack what the materials you've shared tell us about it all.
Right. So our mission here is pretty straightforward. Look at the context for this surprising fallout, explore the idea for this new party, and consider what the sources suggest it could all mean. And just to be clear, we are sticking only to the information provided in those sources you gave us.
Absolutely. It's crucial to base this discussion solely on the material at hand.
And this isn't just, gossip about famous people. It really touches on bigger themes, the power individual people can have, the role of social media, obviously, and that feeling you hear about, that maybe the current political setup isn't quite cutting it for a lot of folks. So let's get into it.
Okay, so to really understand the feud, the sources suggest we need to look back a bit at the relationship before things went sour. It wasn't always like this.
No, definitely not. The materials show Musk's politics, well, they've shifted around quite a bit, reportedly voting Democrat in 2016 for Clinton and again in 2020 for Biden.
Right, but then a change. By 2022, the sources say he stated he planned to vote Republican. And this seemed to grow into him becoming a really close ally of Trump.
A close ally is one thing, but the financial support mentioned in the sources, that's huge.
It really is. The sources point to Musk reportedly becoming Trump's single largest donor in 2024. We're talking $270 million.
Wow. $270 million.
Wow. Yeah, channeled through different groups backing Trump and other Republicans. And specifically, $200 million of that reportedly went through his own super PAC, the America PAC, just for Trump.
That's an incredible amount of money. It really underscores the kind of commitment the sources are describing during that time.
And it wasn't just funding. The sources also mentioned he had a pretty significant role inside the administration itself. He was apparently leading efforts in this Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, they called it.
DOGE, right. I remember reading that. Focus on cutting government waste.
Exactly. Identifying waste, trying to streamline things. The sources even mention him, residing at Mar-a-Lago for a time, spending time with the Trump family. It paints a picture of real proximity.
So he was deep inside the operation. The sources even mentioned him getting a golden key from the Oval Office when he left that role recently.
That's what's reported, yes. A symbolic gesture, presumably.
Okay, so that level of closeness, the money, the access, it just makes the sudden, very public split seem even more, jarring.
Absolutely. And the sources seem to pinpoint a very specific trigger for it all.
Okay, yeah, let's get to that. What actually sparked this public fight? According to the sources, it looks like it was Musk's growing criticism, of a really big piece of legislation.
That's right. Trump's $2.4 trillion tax and spending measure. The sources sometimes call it the Big Beautiful Bill or One Big Beautiful Bill.
Okay, a $2.4 trillion bill. And Musk wasn't a fan.
Not even close, according to the reports. He apparently called it a disgusting abomination, said it would bankrupt America.
Whoa.
And significantly, that it would basically undo all the cost-cutting work his own DOGE team was trying to do. He reportedly even put out a call to action, telling people, call your senator, call your congressman, kill the bill.
So not keeping his opinion quiet then. And the sources say this just blew up from there, moved online.
Pretty much immediately. It escalated into these really public spats on social media, X, Truth Social, the usual platforms for these figures.
And this is where it gets pretty personal. Based on the source material. It's important we state these are claims reported in the sources.
Crucial distinction, yes. So Musk reportedly started making some big claims, like taking credit for Trump's 2024 win and the GOP Senate takeover, saying things like, without me, Trump would have lost.
Okay, that's bold. What else?
The sources also mention a really striking claim Musk apparently made, alleging Trump is listed in Jeffrey Epstein's files.
Wow. Did the sources offer any proof for that?
No. Importantly, the sources are very clear. That post was later deleted, and no evidence was provided in the material we reviewed.
Got it. And there was more.
Yes. He also reportedly endorsed a post suggesting Trump should actually be impeached and replaced by Senator J.D. Vance. That post was also reportedly deleted later.
So some pretty explosive stuff, even if deleted. How did Trump respond, according to the sources?
Just as publicly and personally. He reportedly told reporters Musk had lost his mind. claimed Musk was wearing thin and that he, Trump, had asked Musk to leave the White House.
So conflicting accounts there of who initiated the departure. And the sources mention real-world consequences, too. Market reactions.
They do. Tesla stock reportedly dropped about 14% around this time, and Trump media stock took an 8% hit as well. So not just words, but financial ripples too.
Okay, so amid all this really intense public falling out, Musk starts floating a new idea. The sources say he felt politically homeless.
Right. And that's when he apparently came up with this concept of, well, maybe we need a new political party altogether.
And he didn't just think it. He put it out there, right? The sources talk about a poll on X.
Yeah, a massive poll. Asked his 220 million followers, is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle?
220 million followers. What were the results?
Pretty decisive, according to the reports. About 5.6 million people voted, and a huge majority, 80%, reportedly said yes.
80%. How did Musk react to that?
The sources quote him declaring, "The people have spoken. A new political party is needed in America. This is fate." Pretty definitive language. Fate.
And the name America Party came up.
Yes, someone apparently suggested it, and Musk reportedly liked it, saying, "the party that actually represents America," which, as the sources note, is interestingly similar to his super PAC, America PAC.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what would this party actually do? Based on the sources, what seemed to be Musk's goals for it?
Well, reflecting that poll, representing the 80% in the middle seems key. Also, dismantling the establishment, or the swamp, as it's often called.
Familiar rhetoric there.
Yes. And a big focus, according to the reports, on America's financial situation, getting spending under control, reducing waste, making, quote, tough fiscal choices, echoing his DOGE work, perhaps.
Okay, so that's Musk's idea taking shape. Now, the sources bring in another player here, right? Andrew Yang.
Exactly. Yang, who's been trying to build his own third party, the Forward Party, for a while now. The material says Yang reached out to Musk right after this feud blew up and the poll results came in.
Interesting timing. What was Yang's pitch, according to the sources?
Pretty direct. Let's build a third party together. Simple as that.
Did Musk respond?
The sources indicated that at the time of the reports, Yang hadn't heard back yet. But Yang was quoted sounding optimistic about the potential.
And Yang's reasoning for needing a new party, as laid out in the sources, kind of echoes that politically homeless sentiment, doesn't it?
It does. He reportedly argues that the two major parties just don't represent the growing number of independent voters. He sees the system as, well, dysfunctional, overly polarizing, and just not delivering results.
Especially on tough issues like the deficit.
Yeah, he specifically mentioned politicians being unwilling to make hard choices, especially on fiscal matters, which aligns somewhat with Musk's stated concerns.
But they come from different places politically, right? The sources sort of frame Yang as more center-left, and Musk, well, arguably hard-right lately. How would that partnership even work?
That's a key question the sources touch upon. Yang's argument, as reported, is that the Forward Party is designed to be a broad coalition. He points to having people from across the spectrum involved already, like Republicans Christine Todd Whitman and Carrie Healy as co-chairs.
So the idea is unity around the process, not necessarily every single policy.
Exactly. Yang reportedly says the unifying mission is to fix and modernize the political system itself, make it more responsive. Disagreements on specific issues are expected, even fine, as long as there's agreement on the core problem, the broken system, and the mission to repair it.
What about Musk's specific actions, like the sources mentioning him, dismantling USI efforts? Does Yang address that?
He reportedly took the view that you don't have to agree with every single past decision someone made to work with them on the bigger primary goal of fixing the political structure.
Okay, so connecting this back to you, the listener, why track all this? Well, the sources really show it, highlighting a frustration lots of people seem to feel with the Democrats and Republicans.
Right. And it raises the question, could figures with immense resources and platforms like Musk, alongside movements like Yang's, actually create a viable alternative, even with all the known challenges? It's a big what if.
Let's shift to how this played out online. The social media reaction, the sources called it a firestorm.
Unsurprising, given the profiles involved. Yeah, the internet apparently just erupted with memes, commentary, the whole works.
What kind of reactions did the sources highlight?
A real mix. You had enthusiastic support. The sources quoted one example. Elon Musk, President USA of the American Party.
Okay, so some people were definitely on board, but skepticism too.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of that. Comments like, the America Party already exists. It's called libertarian. Or, more cynically, more accurately, the party that can't win national elections.
So doubting its viability right out of the gate. Any other interesting takes?
Someone reportedly suggested the People Party sounds better TBH, to be honest. And interestingly, the sources noted that all this buzz actually boosted Andrew Yang's Forward Party, reportedly bringing them thousands of new followers very quickly.
Huh. So potential side effect there. And the sources also mentioned Musk's estranged daughter.
Yes, Vivian Jenna Wilson. She reportedly added her perspective with a viral video that gained traction, especially noted in the sources within LGBTQ+ social media circles.
Okay, quite a wide range of reactions then. So, moving beyond the immediate online buzz, what about the potential political consequences? What did the sources suggest there?
Well, the immediate impact reported was some nervousness among Republicans. Figures like Representative Don Bacon reportedly worried that Musk's acrimonious departure and his public criticisms could sow division and chaos.
Not ideal heading into elections or key legislative periods, presumably.
Exactly. Bacon reportedly felt it wasn't helpful for the party, especially with midterms or other critical votes potentially on the horizon. There was also concern noted in the sources that Musk's attacks on that big spending bill, the $2.4 trillion mega bill, could actually make it harder for Trump to pass it.
How so?
By possibly hardening opposition, giving critics more ammunition, and maybe undermining other goals Trump had for his first term.
Did anyone influential push back on that concern?
Well, Representative Jody Arrington, who chairs the House Budget Committee, was quoted. He called Musk a credible voice on debt and spending issues. He acknowledged it's never helpful when Musk criticizes spending because people listen to him. He has reach.
But did he think it was a lasting problem?
Interestingly, no. Arrington reportedly predicted they'd figure it out, that the dispute would eventually be resolved.
Okay. And looking further ahead, elections, funding. What did the sources say about that?
Republican operatives quoted in the sources mostly said it was, too early to really tell the long-term election impact, but the potential loss of Musk's funding was definitely noted as a factor to watch, given how much he'd spent previously and hints he might cut back.
But there were counter-arguments too, right, about Musk's actual influence?
Yes, definitely. The sources pointed out that Trump was still raising huge amounts of money from other sources, underlining his own central position. They also noted Musk himself has become, according to some reports cited, a deeply polarizing and unpopular figure, whereas Trump's approval had apparently ticked up slightly.
In that Wisconsin race.
Right. The sources mentioned Musk reportedly spent $20 million in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, but the liberal candidate won anyway, which, suggests maybe his money or endorsement doesn't automatically guarantee victory. There are limits to his pull.
So, despite the fiery rhetoric, is reconciliation possible? Did the sources suggest they might patch things up?
There were definitely hints in that direction. Representative Mike Lawler was quoted downplaying it, suggesting they will make peace.
Any signs from Musk or Trump themselves?
The sources noted Musk's critical posts seemed to cool off around that Friday. He even reportedly agreed with a supporter who said Trump and Musk are much stronger together than apart.
Interesting. And Trump.
Trump's public stance, as quoted, was more dismissive. I'm not thinking about Elon Musk, I just wish him well. And the sources reminded readers that Trump does have a history of eventually moving past conflicts, even with major rivals.
Okay, so the personal feud might blow over. But what about the actual idea of the America Party? The structural challenges?
Ah, yes. The sources, including Yang's comments, are really clear on this. Starting a successful third party in the U.S. faces enormous hurdles.
Like what specifically?
Just getting on the ballot in all 50 states is a nightmare. It's legally complex, expensive, logistically demanding. The whole system is basically designed to favor the two existing major parties. It's a massive structural barrier.
But Yang thinks it's possible,
Right.
If you have the resources.
He does offer a counter strategy, as reported. He points to the sheer number of local races that often go uncontested.
Local races, not presidential.
His argument, cited in the sources, is start local. There are over 500,000 locally elected positions. Up to 70% are reportedly uncontested. Some seats aren't even filled. Thousands are nonpartisan anyway.
So the idea is to flood those races.
Kind of. With focus and, crucially, resources, Yang reportedly believes a new party could get thousands of its people elected at the local level relatively fast. Build from the ground up.
And then move up to state and federal.
That's the suggested path. He reportedly thinks this could lead to electing U.S. senators and having a serious presidential ticket within years. He mentioned figures like Mike Duggan, an independent running in Michigan, as examples of alternative routes.
And this Legislator Liberation Fund.
Yeah, an idea reportedly floated to financially support politicians who want to break from strict party lines, freeing them up. Yang's reported view is that none of this, the local focus, the fund, is actually that expensive for someone with a certain level of resources. A clear nod to Musk, perhaps.
Right. So when you boil it down, the sources show this whole episode isn't just about Trump versus Musk. It's tapping into these deeper questions about American democracy itself.
Exactly. The two-party structure, the role of big money, the power of social media platforms, and ultimately whether real fundamental change can actually come from outside the established system, or if those barriers are just too high to overcome.
Okay, so let's try to wrap up this deep dive. We've walked through this really surprising public break between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, apparently sparked by major policy differences. We looked at Musk's idea for an America Party, which came out of that conflict, and seemed to tap into some public frustration shown in that Big X poll.
We covered the social media explosion, the skepticism, the support, and Andrew Yang seeing a potential opening for his own third-party efforts.
Right. And we explored the potential impacts, the worries within the GOP, the threat to Trump's agenda, but also the possibility of reconciliation. And crucially, those massive hurdles any new party faces, contrasted with Yang's view on how maybe, just maybe, it could be done with enough resources. And remember, all of this is drawn only from the source materials you provided.
It really does capture a lot of the current political dynamics and frustrations all in one story.
It certainly does. Which leaves us, and you, with a final thought to chew on, based on everything these sources suggest. You have someone like Elon Musk, with reported immense wealth, a huge platform, and stated ambitions to shake things up. You have reported widespread dissatisfaction with the status quo. Could this confluence actually represent a real, though maybe long shot, chance for a new political force to emerge and stick?
Or is it more likely to be just another fascinating but ultimately fleeting chapter in high-stakes political drama that doesn't fundamentally change the game?
Something for you to think about. So don't forget to subscribe to Daily Easy English Talk so you don't miss our next show.
Yeah, please do, and share it with your friends if you found it helpful.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.